Welcome back to the Bandwich Tapes. I'm Brad Williams. Today I'm joined by singer, songwriter, and instrumentalist Lila Forde, an artist who somehow pulls jazz harmony, West Coast rock, soul, and choir precision into one voice that sounds just like Lila. I actually found her in the most podcast host way possible. I was prepping for my episode with Larry Goldings, saw a video of them together, and immediately sent it to every musician friend I have, like, listen to this singer. And not long after that, here we are. In this conversation, we talk about collaboration, how songs start as tiny ideas, why you should always be recording, and how you keep your identity when the world wants to put you in a genre box. We also dig into gig life lessons you only learn when nobody's listening, and what it means to lead your own record as an independent artist. Here's my conversation with Lila Forde.
She talked in a way that I liked. When she smiled at me, I could feel my little heart breaking. So I asked, what's your name? Have we met before? 'Cause if not, I'd love to make your acquaintance. And she said, girl, don't you recall? We met in April, July, and September. He was 6 feet tall. Come on, don't play those games. I know you remember temptation. You know the words to this song. A temptation. I hear you singing along.
Lila, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the podcast. How are things today?
Hi, Brad. Things are great. Life is good. Cannot complain.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we were just catching up, contrasting our weather experiences for the day. It's a little bit nicer in LA than it is in St. Louis, but that's all right.
It's really like this is the time of year to be in LA. It's like a cool 73. The sun's
Oh, yeah.
out, a slight breeze. It's really good.
That's wonderful.
But
Yeah,
you'll get through the winter. I know you and everybody else. You're going to do
that's
it.
that's right. At least we're not dealing with all the crazy snow that they're having in the
yeah.
Northeast right now. So at least there's that.
Crazy.
So I am the newest, biggest fan of yours. I'm a little
No
late to
way.
I'm a little bit late to the party, but I'm glad that I'm here.
You're really not late, actually. You're early. You're still early.
I recently had a conversation for the podcast with Larry Goldings. I talked with him a couple weeks ago. And as you do, preparing for an episode, was watching some videos of his, and there you were singing.
Wait,
And
that's so random. Did this happen before we had already chatted about me coming on here?
no, I just
You found.
saw Larry, heard you, sent you the video to every musician that I'm friends with, and said, "Listen to this singer." And that
That's
was it.
amazing.
And
So cool.
immediately reached out, and so here we are.
So here we
Yeah.
are. Yeah, Larry and I have just kind of become new friends, and it's a very strong musical connection, I would say.
You know, if you're going to have a new musical friend, I would say Larry Goldings is probably a good one to have, right?
I know, I'm kind of like kicking myself. I can't believe it.
Yeah, he told me that he's been kind of doing some duo stuff like singers and him, and I'm glad to see that you are one of those great singers that he's working with.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's amazing to work with him. And we did that video kind of just like a little one-off. And then he was like, hey, you wanna write some songs? I'm like, okay. So now we've been working on some original stuff, which is really, really cool. And it's like it's not even just a strong musical connection, but he is so hilarious.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I just like laugh the entire time. Like kind of more than anybody I've ever met before. It's kind of crazy. So it's a good hang for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So how does a collaboration like that work? Are you kind of the lyrical piece of that and he's the musical piece, or is it a shared responsibility with both?
It's different with every collaborator. My comfort zone is writing by myself because like I play the piano, I play the guitar. That's really my space where I kind of just like go in and can jam on things and see what comes out eventually. But um it's different obviously with somebody like Larry who's such a virtuosic musician. And so um usually it'll be like he plays something and I'm like, "Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, that's cool." But there's one song that he was like, "Let me just show you this idea. It's kind of been an idea for a while and I haven't done anything with it." And it was just this little, maybe like a 4-8 bar thing. And I was like, that's a song that I would sing. And so we kind of start expanding, and it's mostly him playing and me just vocalizing, like just letting melodies kind of flow out. And we always record because the best ideas always come when you're not
That's it.
recording. So always record. Yeah, and usually I'll just kind of like free ball it. He'll play, I'll sing over it, and then we'll listen back and be like, "Oh, that was the cool idea there." And then, okay, now we want it to go somewhere different, like maybe somewhere minor. And I'll be like, I'm not at the instrument, of course, because he is, but I'll be like, "Oh, what if you go up like a minor third there and we're in that key now?" And he's like, it's kind of just, yeah, bouncing things off one another. And then lyrically, so far, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's sort of like, I'm not really a lyric writer. And I'm like, if you speak English, you're a lyric writer.
Right.
So we're getting into that. That's kind of to come, which is I'm excited about that.
Yeah. It's I can already tell that it's interesting to hear a collaboration that's new, that sounds like it's been happening for a really long time. And that's the way I immediately heard the duo with you and Larry.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a really obvious match. And I've been a fan of Larry Goldings for a while. I've known about him since must have been college or something like that. And then we've kind of like met a few times, but how did this happen? I think I went to a show of his. I like showed up to a show and he was like, "We should do something." I'm like, "Great."
Okay.
So the advice to the young people listening is go out to the shows. Seriously, it's like how you meet people, how you meet collaborators. Just get that FaceTime with people, and then he reached out, so it's great.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to that they always say never meet your heroes, but if there's anything that I've learned doing this or being in music for a long time is musicians are approachable. And for the most part, they're super people, and they just want to talk to you, and they'll open up about their craft. Yeah, go for it.
Totally, yeah, and yeah, you don't want to don't meet your heroes. That's true. I forgot, but no, so far Larry's still my hero.
Yeah, there you go. That's great. Well, I'm excited to hear what is to come with that. But so, how is the new year so far? Are you staying busy, or are you getting a little bit of a time to renew, or what's going on?
Kind of no time to renew, frankly. I mean, there was a little bit like the first couple weeks of the year, maybe, the first 2 weeks of January, things were definitely in the sort of rest, renewing stage, setting the stage for what was to come. And I always get the blues a little bit at the beginning of the new year because it's just like, I don't know, a very reflective and introspective time. You're thinking about the year that's just passed, just finished, and also like what you want to come of this year and like everything that didn't happen last year that you want to happen, that you're looking forward to the future. And I think the slowness also makes like it gives me time when I'm just busy, busy, busy all the time. There's no time for my brain to like wander or question or wonder or doubt or anything like that. So I always think it's good for me though. It's good to wrestle with those demons in you. You know what I mean? Because everybody's got them. And I do tend to keep myself pretty booked up and just going because I mean, in this game, you gotta in a lot of ways. But it's always good to like sit with yourself at the beginning of the year. What do I want? It's okay to feel feel all the things. So, but to answer your question, since then, things are moving right along and things are looking good. A lot of things are happening.
That's fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited to find out at some point what those are. I'm sure there's great things
I
ahead.
mean, there are great things ahead. Yeah, I'm like working on my next record, which is going to come out this year.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, I don't know. Should I just launch in? Do you have another question? I don't know
No,
how
let's
this
go
works.
for it. No, let's go
Okay,
for it. Let's just talk
great.
about it.
Great. Let's just talk
Yeah.
about it. Well, this record is really very excited about it, and I'm really proud of it. I am kind of the main producer on it. I mean, there's a bunch of different producers on the record, but my last record was like one guy. He was the producer of the album, and we worked together and it was great. But this is like sort of me coming into my own shoes a little bit and being like, I love collaborating with other people, but I also have like, killer instincts for like what I do best, I think. And um yeah, just figuring out all the crafty ways to kind of make it happen. I'm not on a record label or anything like that. So I have to like figure out, where to find the money to do all these things, how to like the time and things have just kind of been falling into place really luckily. And I think you can kind of hear that in this record in a really cool way. And I'm proud of that aspect of it, that it's like it's a little scrappy or something, but not scrappy like, I'm doing this myself and it's gonna be really good and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that. You know, it's always interesting for musicians to work with a producer, and I'm sure you had a very active role in it, but also, there's a collaboration that happens there. But I imagine now you're
For
taking
sure.
more of an active role in that. And what
Yeah.
what are you noticing, just as far as decisions of arrangements or
Yeah.
production? What are you seeing in that respect?
Like what I'm noticing is like when I work with certain producers, it like if they have a really strong voice, I'm a kind of person that's like I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this, I'll try that. But then like sometimes you kind of like look up and you're like, oh, this doesn't sound fully like Lila's voice. This sounds like a very strong voice of this producer combined with me. And I'm versatile. I can kind of fit myself into a lot of different spaces. And that's really what I've realized is that there are certain things that I lack in terms of like skills, like in a digital audio workspace, for example. Like I'm not super skilled with Logic. That's where I kind of do need a little bit of help. But in terms of like decision making and knowing the sounds that I want, like, and to complement my voice, I've kind of learned that my instincts are a lot of the time really on point. So yeah, just kind of like making sure that my voice is the through line with everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to hear, because the other album, the debut album,
Yeah.
Vessel, amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
The thing I love about it, one of the things I love about it, is that it checks so many musical boxes for me, and that I think any type of music that you enjoy listening to, you could listen to that album and be like, oh yeah, it's doing that, it's doing that, it's doing that. I hear
Oh,
so
thank you.
much. I would imagine so many of your influences, so much that you love, kind of seeps out on that
Yes,
album.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you hear? Who do you
Um, who do I hear? I hear 70s West Coast rock and roll, a lot of that. I hear jazz piano players. I hear a little bit of a nod to maybe some country music in there. I mean, I just hear a lot of different things in it.
You got the good ears, Brad. You got the good ears. Yeah, and that's been something that, especially with this record too, this next one is like, I have so many influences. I really have a wide, colorful variety of influences. And I think they make up the palette that I paint from. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And in this day and age, sometimes I'll get caught up with like they want to fit you in a genre box. They want to fit you in a box so that they can pitch you to blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh, Lila, she's the like what is she? Like there's a little bit of the country twang. There's like the jazz thing for sure. There's the soulfulness. There's the West Coast. There's the like even like I grew up singing in choir, so there's those sort of
Mhm.
classical influences. And I've come to realize that maybe my genre is just like it's the beauty of my genre, I think, maybe, that I just have a little bit of all these different things. And yeah, the through line is me. So, you know, if you don't like it, then on to the next.
It's funny. I didn't realize I was a fan of yours and then learned that you were on The Voice, which was really
Yes,
funny.
I was. I know, it's crazy.
But then hearing you and seeing some videos of you on the show, one of the things that I loved about your performances there and every performance since is that you sounded like you, and you didn't sound like a singer trying to be another singer, which I do think that happens a lot on those, especially those competition shows, and even just, you know, singers in general or musicians in general. It's like influence that leads to imitation.
Yeah.
I've never felt that listening to you. I can certainly tell you're drawing from a deep well of influences, but it's never in a way of imitating anyone. You're always you, which I really
Thank you.
appreciate.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's funny, when I was on the show, John Legend, who was my coach, my season was very, very good. I don't know if I should say this on air, but I don't think they've had a season as good as that since. Like, it was kind of unreal, and a lot of very unique singers. And I remember John Legend told me when we were getting ready to, I was doing my top 12, or wait, my performance to get me into the live shows, so like to take you onto the top 12. And he just told me, he was like, don't try to outsing anybody, don't try to outperform anybody, you just go out there and you just be Lila and you'll be just fine. And I was like, okay. And it totally was. And it totally was just fine. Because I think, especially in this day and age, beyond those shows, even with like the introduction of the internet or TikTok, there's all these new like trends in singers. And like a lot of people sound the same. Like, I think Phoebe Bridgers was a huge influence on that like that folksy kind of neo folksy scene. And now like there are thousands of singers who want to sound exactly like Phoebe Bridgers. And it's like, well, but Phoebe Bridgers is already Phoebe Bridgers. Like, you know, you're not gonna make it by being Phoebe Bridgers. She already did that. So, thanks for saying that. And I think that's definitely like it's a North Star for me, and kind of always a comeback. Like, when I get, you know, because we get all over the place in this world, like, oh, what about the, but just coming back to like your power is in your uniqueness
Yeah.
almost.
Did you ever have to fight the urge to try to sing like this person, or was it always a thing that you realized, no, this is who I am, I'm going to stick with my thing?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, I grew up singing in choir, and in this sort of like specific, it was sort of like a pop music choir, but where it was like karaoke sort of, but we had to learn the original recordings like to a T. And it was all really good music. Like, it was like Carole King, America, the Doobie Brothers, like really tight knit harmony. So it taught you really how to sing in tune with other people. And we would have to imitate the original artist, like every single inflection, every single note turn, everything they did. And at the time, I was annoyed by it because I was like, I want to do my own thing. But what I didn't realize is that, I mean, and then I went to jazz school and they have you transcribe jazz solos. So it's the same thing. It's like learning the vocabulary so that you can like embed it in your DNA, and then eventually the soup will cook, and all the different influences and all the imitations that you've done over the years will hopefully become a dish of its own. And then, but it's like you can hear all the little things from everything, but it's, if you're just copying somebody else, it's, well, how do I say this? Yeah, it's just imitation. It's nothing, it's like cosplaying almost. It's like you're
Right.
just cosplaying like Phoebe Bridgers, or there's the whole like new 70s LA kind of trend where everybody just sounds like, you know, Neil Young and stuff, which is great. Again, it's like, but Neil Young has been done. We've done Neil Young. It's like, take the influence, but offer something fresh with it.
I couldn't agree more. I'm still just so struck with how you just have your own thing. You know, it's just your own thing.
Thank you.
soul behind. Cause then you'd have to see me after dawn. I knew this day would come. I knew you would run. Crying in the corner, feeling sorry for myself. Is this all I expected of love?
So you alluded to singing in choirs. How did all of this music stuff appear in your life? Was it something you were like, oh yeah, this is what I have to do from the
Great
beginning?
question. No, it was my mother. It
Okay.
was my mother. She's a classical pianist. So, and I have two older brothers. So, straight out the womb, we were all playing music, just in it, lessons, everybody had to take piano lessons. And then, I just had an affinity for singing. Like the legend has it, I sang before I spoke, but parents tend to exaggerate these things. I don't know if that's actually how it went, but the point is I was really into singing. And so they put me in choir and, I was in the Seattle Girls Choir from age 6 to 18. So
Wow.
a very long time. And there were so many times when I wanted to quit, Brad. Let me tell you, like, oh God, when I wanted to play sports or I wanted to do, but my parents just really were like, nah. And I'm so grateful for them in that decision to keep me in there. I mean, some of my best friends to this day are some girls in that choir. And I think it gave me a lot of who I am today. So there was choir, I took piano lessons, and then I ended up, my older brother is a jazz bass player. And so I kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try out jazz. Let's see what that's like. And I ended up doing the whole like audition process for jazz school. And it was kind of just an instinctive thing that I went to study that. I wasn't super well versed in jazz in high school or anything like that, but I really fell in love with it. And I think that also a huge piece of the influence pie. I'm not necessarily trying to be a jazz singer, but I think learning as a jazz musician makes you it just makes you a very skilled musician. It's one of the hardest
Absolutely.
musical art forms there is. And the improvisation aspect of it is such a huge part of who I am as a musician and everything. So, and I love singing jazz. Like, hopefully, you know how Lady Gaga has her like pop star career, but then she also has her like Tony Bennett, may he rest in peace. Like her Tony Bennett, like her jazz kind of side. I'm like, I want to do that. Like, I want to someday just be able to like make jazz albums, not as like my main thing, but as like a fun passion project,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too, and I'm sure you studied, studying jazz in college, just the harmonic piece of it, just the music theory piece of it, it just probably opened your mind to
And my
all of those
ears, oh my
possibilities.
gosh.
Yes.
My ears grew so
Mhm.
big and so wide. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just talking with someone about that the other day, just about the importance of understanding and learning music theory and the ear training that goes beyond, and just how it makes your life as a musician so much quicker, learning music or communicating what you want to another
Oh my
musician.
gosh. It's as a singer, it's like I was blind, but now I see. It's sort of like I feel for singers who don't have, because there's a lot of singers who don't play an instrument. They were just never, like kind of told to or guided to or whatever. But playing an instrument and knowing music theory just a little bit, even just a little bit, it makes it so, like you said, communicating with other musicians, communicating what you want on the bandstand is a huge part of it. Like, and also, this is a funny little thing. Solfege, like do, re,
Oh
mi,
yeah.
fa, sol, la, ti, do. So that's what we grew up like learning music with in choir. To this day, I still hear like all melodies in solfege.
Mhm.
So it's a really strange combination of like the jazz harmony, jazz theory thing, and then the solfege. But I feel like it's given me the tools to kind of like, yeah, I mean, just to be able to hear things, to write, it expands your writing. It expands everything pretty much, just a little bit. So would highly recommend.
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old daughter who is
No
quite
way.
active. She's quite active in choir, and she's studying with a teacher. Her teacher is it's all about solfege with them, and she's
No way.
yeah, and she is. It's amazing to see how I think it unlocks this other piece of the music theory understanding by understanding that as well. So I'm with
That's
you on that.
so cool. That's so random. You have a daughter who's in choir and doing solfege. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Keep her in it. Tell her she's doing great.
Yeah, and she's a new fan of yours as well. So there you go.
Oh, no way. Amazing. What's her name?
Her name is
okay, Sophie. I didn't know. Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
great.
I'll tell you. So it's Sophia. I'll keep it in. We're good. Yeah, it's Sophia.
Sophia.
She's a big fan. So
oh,
yeah,
cute.
She's
hey,
like,
Sophia.
wow, what a good singer. Like,
nice.
yes, she is.
Great.
So do you gig around LA a lot?
I do. I gig all over the place, actually. That's one thing that The Voice really has, well, one among many things. The Voice has really helped me with, now I have some fans kind of around the country, which is really amazing. So yeah, I do gigs all over the place in LA, but also in Seattle, where I'm from. Since The Voice, it's given me a lot of exposure in that city because I'm from there. So I'm actually going up there this weekend and doing 2 house concerts, which is going to be really fun. Just me solo. And yeah, but I play in LA all the time. A large range of gigs, from like little wine bars to private events to the studio. We're musicians, which is whatever comes our way to make it work.
Yeah, I've played. I've spent. I don't play as much now as I used to, but I played a million gigs over the years, and I've always like to ask musicians about. Do you learn as much playing to a captivated audience as you do playing when no one is listening to you at all? Because those are two very different things, but they're both very good learning experiences.
Brad, you're asking all the right questions. Like, wow. It's like you prepared. And it's like you've lived it, because it's so true. Like, there's a certain freedom when nobody's listening. There's a certain freedom that you can just try things. You can take risks. You can do whatever. So I kind of cut my teeth after I graduated college. I cut my teeth on playing like hotel jazz gigs, essentially, like in a hotel lobby playing for 4 hours. And a lot of the time, nobody's listening. A lot of the time, people are talking over you or putting their drink on the piano or whatever. And it's just an unideal environment. But I swear to God, those gigs were where I, not to sound cliche, found my voice, literally, because I had, like, school is great, but until you go walk the walk and live the life and play 4-hour gigs where nobody's listening 5 days a week, it's like you become your calcified like version of who you're supposed to be, and then you just continue growing. And that's what happened for me, because I was playing these gigs that a lot of the time nobody was listening, and I could just try whatever. And I kind of realized, the expanses of my ability and what I could do. And it's also where I met so many amazing musicians, was on these gigs. And sometimes you're playing duo with a guitar player for 4 hours and you're like, okay, that's a long gig. And then you just end up, playing the craziest version of Norwegian Wood anybody's ever heard, and nobody claps. And you're like, wow. But you know what? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, because in this life, you can't be doing it. You can't be doing it for the fame and the money. You just got to be doing it for the love of it, because fame and money come and go. But your love is really what has got to fuel it. So, and then, yeah, there's some of my favorite shows I've ever played is when, you could hear a pin drop and the audience is like in the palm of your hand. And there's also places that I've reached in those moments that I never knew that I could go to. So it's all, you just got to do it all, stay humble and just do it all, just when you think you've reached, like, just when you think you're, on the, the finale of The Voice or whatever, and the whole world is watching you. And then, like, in a couple months, you'll be back giving the most life-changing performance of your life that nobody hears. So it's just like, you got to do it all.
Yeah. And I think those wallpaper gigs where you're just the wallpaper on the wall to the people sitting there. I think those gigs are just as, like you were saying, important to remind you how great the ones are when the people are completely engaged. And
Totally.
and I think that every musician at some point needs to experience those, because it makes you prove to yourself who you are and
It is,
what you're
yeah.
made of. Yeah.
And you do it, and it reminds you why you're doing it. You know what I mean? It reminds you why you're doing it. And this was kind of a different situation. It wasn't a wallpaper gig, but we were on tour and we were playing at this venue, and there was literally this venue up in Northern California. There was literally like 30 people there, which sounds like, a decent number of people, but it felt like the room was empty. Like, and the way they'd set up the room, it was like there might as well have been like one person there. And it was like, there's this, and we had played a sold out show the night before. And so it's like I remember showing up and like realizing, that nobody was there. And I told myself in the green room before, I was like, the only way, because I'm like, you feel all these feelings like embarrassment, shame, like all these things, like, oh, people don't come out to my show. Like, oh, you feel all these things, you have all these thoughts. And I told myself in the green room before, like just by myself in the room, I'm like, the only thing that you can do to make this not embarrassing is to go give them the best show that they have ever seen. Like I'm like, you got to go out there and sing it as though it's a stadium full of people. And it was one of the best shows we ever did on that
That's
tour,
awesome.
which was amazing. And there's like nobody there. And so sort of a similar thing. I think just like staying humble and having the experiences where it's just reminding you who you are and why you do it,
Yeah.
I'm cruising down the road, a cool breeze running through my hair, emerald cities in the distance. I'm on my way to get my share, and I'm not concerned with getting there too fast. Starting a fire that'll burn out in a flash. I'm keen on building something that'll stick. I'm making it brick by brick. I'm moving step by step. We're going inch by inch. I'm working it rep by rep.
No, I'm with you. And it's some of the most enjoyable evenings I've ever had playing music in my life were the ones where it was to a room maybe a fourth filled with people.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I think the fun challenge of it is trying to draw that audience in and trying to engage them and,
Yeah, because in the end, it's like, it's selfish if you go inside your head, oh, nobody's here for me, wham, wham, wham. But it's like, no, there's one person here who wants their life to be changed. And you're like, I really believe my purpose on this earth, as my album is called Vessel, is like, I have been kind of given this gift and it heals people, and it's my duty to share it. And it's my duty to not get in the way of it, like get in the way of my own self because of my own ego or my pride or whatever. It's like, it's my purpose on this earth to just, to just do it.
I think that's wonderful. I think that's fantastic. Did I read that you recorded that album really quickly, like in a short amount of time?
We did it in 3 days. Yeah. It was
3
crazy.
days. Wow,
Yeah.
that's fast. Yeah.
It was fast. I mean, like I said, we were balling on a budget. This was the first album, but I had done a Kickstarter and raised a bunch of money before The Voice, actually. So it was like OG fan club. And we raised a bunch of money to record it, but it's like, you got to go fast because you're burning money. Studios are expensive, musicians are expensive. So we recorded it in 3 days, and then it took, everything takes longer after that, like months of kind of like editing, mixing, all the stuff and then you got to figure out like the visuals, the videos,
Yeah.
everything that goes in after the thing. But the actual recording of it was very quick.
Did you record all of the vocal tracks during those 3 days too, or did you do any overdubs?
I did.
That's awesome.
I did. Yeah, I kind of, if I can, I really like to do that because I like to play. I like to sing with the band. Like, I love to be informed, and like that spirit of the live take, I think is really special. And I can do it. I am a vocalist who can pull it off. So and also there's times when, you have to surrender. Like, if the vocal take isn't totally perfect, but the spirit of it is in the band, you got to go with it, And I think that's also a really good practice too. Cause it just, man, I get down if I've done like 67 takes. I'm like, I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what's good. Sometimes it's just the first take and you're in there. It's just like, all right, it's easier to just do it and move on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I love to hear these albums that are almost like a snapshot of this moment in time. And
yeah,
and I think that's what's cool about that project is that it hearing that it was done so quickly. And I love the fact that you recorded the vocals with the band. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, luckily there's like isolation. You're in a booth and you just rock and roll. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
There's no time or money for anything else. So
yeah. Who all played on that? The drum sounds are just magnificent, by the way. They
oh
sound
my
so
gosh.
good.
So good. Okay, so that drummer is this guy, Nico Embry. I actually used to date him. He's my former boyfriend at the time. But he's still a great friend and he's an amazing drummer. That it was recorded at King Size Studios in LA. And who else played on it? Aiden Carroll is on bass. This guy, Julius Rodriguez, is on organ and keys and everything like that. Amazing guitar section. Will Brom, John Schroeder, Ben Thomas. Who else is on there? Oh, and Miguel Atwood Ferguson. That's that string arrangement on Vessel, which is
so good.
Thank you. I mean, he's amazing. That was not done in the 3 days. That was not done. And actually, that song, Vessel, we recorded that in the 3 days and it was all wrong. I realized it was all wrong. And then I met Miguel and I had this amazing connection and he was like, I want to do a string arrangement. I'm like, perfect. So that song actually was kind of an outlier in the album because the original version was like, in retrospect, it wasn't like as good as it needed to be. And we finally got there. But yeah, just so many amazing players on that record.
The, that track in particular, I was really struck by the take of your vocal that just captures the lyrical content of that is really, really nice. Yeah.
Thank you. It's kind of that song is an outlier in a lot of ways. It's like an outlier on that album. And, that's been critiqued before, but it's just like, it's the lyrical content and the whole thing is such a representation of who I am that I kind of am just like, well, it's me. So it's gotta be me,
Yeah. Does that song have any, connection back to your family, your roots of music being in your family? It feels I feel a close connection with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it's, I grew up my parents met in a meditation group in the 90s in Seattle. And so I grew up I was I was not a practicing meditator in this group, but I grew up all around this group, like going to the retreats. It was very much in the water that I drank. And this sort of like, there's a reverence about it. And in the work that they do, there are these sacred dances. And there's this accompanying music. I don't know how to describe it, but it's sort of like Middle Eastern sounding, like Eastern, like Turkish, Armenian, but then also kind of, it sounds sort of like Middle Eastern music in a lot of ways, but it's very reverent and has some of those like half step changes, the half step scale. And so the chord changes in Vessel are odd. They're definitely odd, but I think they really work. And it's just 4 chords the whole song. But there's this sort of deep reverence and a sort of meditativeness about it, which definitely, again, is just one of the influences I'm drawing from, you know?
Yeah. And that the string arrangement, it really was such a just wonderful extension, to what was already there. Yeah, it's so good.
Thank you. Yeah, and Miguel is a very spiritual person too, so I think that it just became aligned.
Yeah. You mentioned Aiden Carroll. I had Naya on the podcast. It's probably been about a year ago, and I think they worked together.
Yes, they have. I'm a fan of hers. She doesn't know who I am, but I'm a fan of hers. She makes really cool music.
She really does. I have this funny, quick story to how I met her. I am friends and through this with a drummer in LA named Matt Starr, who plays for Sarah McLachlan, and he played on her new album. And I asked him to send me some tracks that I could drop in on the episode, and he sent me a Naya track, and I had never heard her, and I was like, "Oh wow,
You're like, who's this?
Who's this?" Kind of like I did when I heard you. So it's like, whoa, who's this?
Yeah, she's really unique too, which I love. She's just like so her. And Aiden Carroll, I don't know if I mentioned, Aiden Carroll produced Vessel. He produced the whole album.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, about him, about how you guys started working together.
We met on a gig. It was so amazing. He's he's one of my favorite musicians of all time. Truly, he is. And we met playing a jazz gig. He was playing upright bass. It was me, a pianist, and him. And he was like, and like, kind of like a couple notes came out of my mouth, and he was like, "Who the hell are you?" And he is so amazing. We just had this immediate musical connection. It's like, it was the perfect place for us to meet, because you can kind of like, if we're in the musical jungle and we're like showing all our feathers to each other, you know what I mean? And yeah, it was just an immediate thing. He hit me up the next day. He was like, "I would love to work with you. Like, let's do some stuff." And I brought him over a song. I brought him over a song, and we kind of made a demo of it, and it was just off to the races after that. And we did the rest of the album, and we've done some stuff since then. I got another song coming out with him probably before this next record, as a little like, whet the appetite of the people. Yeah. But yeah, Aiden he's really wonderful.
That's great. Well, I'm excited, and I think working with, collaborating with great people and like I was saying earlier, you stepping in, and doing more of the producer role of this I'm excited to hear about that in this new project you're doing.
Yeah, it's definitely a new challenge. It's kind of it's a new space for me, I guess. But also, I have a band that I am really good at telling them what to do and them what to play. So in a lot of ways, that's producing. So I kind of am just leaning into that. I still need help, but who doesn't need help in this life? Yeah.
Are you using who is playing on the album with you?
Great question. There's so many amazing people on this album. One of the collaborations on this record that I'm really excited about is with these 2 people. One of them is Joey Dosick. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
He's amazing. He's in that band Wolfpack. I don't know if you know them.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, you've heard of them. Yeah. So Joey and I were introduced by this man named Marcel Camargo. Do you know him?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Marcel's amazing. Similarly, we met on a gig. Actually, he was subbing for one of my teachers at USC. So I guess not really a gig, but similar musical context. And then fast forward some years later, Marcel introduced Joey and I, and Joey has this like unbelievable voice, like Marvin Gaye, like, it's just really, really nice. And so we all started writing together. And so a couple of those songs are going to make it on the record. And it's just a very interesting collaboration, because there's my voice, my proverbial voice. There's Joey's proverbial voice. There's Marcel's proverbial voice. Marcel's a Brazilian guitar player. So the 3 of us together, it's really good stuff. So there's that little segment of the album. And then I've been working with this guy named Kaveh Rastegar. Do you know him?
No.
He's an amazing bass player, amazing producer. He's done a bunch of stuff. So there's a couple songs that we've done together, which is just another, very interesting combination of our two voices. What else is on there? Oh yeah, then there's like my band that I took my band into the studio, and we had just been on tour, and we got an opportunity to go into the studio it was paid for. And so I'm like, let's just go really quick. We just toured all this stuff. Let's just get it on wax really quick. And we did it. And so there's that segment of the album too, but it's all like it all ties together somehow. I got to tie it all together, but I am the thread. I am the thread that ties it all together. So I figure I'm just like trying not to overthink it, and
Wow, I'm so excited to hear that it's like all of these different scenes to this. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really, because in some way I couldn't like give myself to one person for this. It was like my way of just trusting my instincts. There was a lot of times where it was going to be like one producer for this record, and then I kind of was just like, wait a second. Here I am. Everybody's here. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, but we can all work together. I am going to lead the ship, and turns out I'm able to do that. So worked out.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I can't wait to hear it. So is it gonna you gonna try to have a 26 release on it, or do you think it's gonna be a 27?
Definitely, because I got a third record already in the works. So it's like, come on, we got music, we got too much music. So it's like there's no time, and also I don't know. The longer you sit on stuff, the less you like it. Like in some ways, like I'm so in love with this record. I want to release it while I'm in love with it, if it's possible. It's hard.
I think that's so well said. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I want to just like be in love with it and not wait 4 years till it's like perfect. And then it's like the 67 vocal takes. It's like, no, it was just better back then when it was fresh off the stove, or whatever the metaphor is there.
No, I completely agree. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it.
Yay.
Well, Lila, I've had so much fun hanging out. I could just sit here and talk to you all day.
I know. We could just gab all day. You're a great conversationalist, Brad. Thank you so much for having me here on your podcast.
Thank you, and best of luck. And I'm going to see you in person at some point. I can't wait. I want to hear you live in the room.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, it's great. Well, best of luck, and just thanks for doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Brad. I'll see you next time, all right?
All right. If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow or subscribe to the Bandwich Tapes wherever you listen, and consider leaving a rating or review. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.